Welcome. Man, Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit, they brought the smoke for First Take and Stephen A. Smith during Ohio State's blowout victory over Tennessee during the college football playoff on Saturday. Did you guys catch this?
He's heard about it.
Now, Kirk, how much of this softens the blow of that Michigan loss? More work to do, right, for folks to forgive and forget that one?
I can't speak on behalf of the lunatic fringe. I'm not sure how they operate. Yeah, the lunatic fringe at Ohio State is as powerful as anywhere in the country.
How big is the fringe?
It used to be 8 to 10. I think it's grown now to about 15 to 20. So I don't know. I'm sure they'll be happy tonight, be fired up about what the Ohio State team did. But God forbid they lose to Oregon. They may want to fire him again.
But that's not reality. I mean,
no.
That's the thing. When you hear pundits on this network and other places talk about that with certainty, it's nonsense, frankly. I mean, the public doesn't pull the trigger and get rid of the coach.
No.
The administrators do, and they're behind them.
Yeah. First Take tried to fire him. They thought he was done. So I'll be excited to see what they talk about on Monday after this performance. They had him out. They're trying to find replacements. But here he is. There he is. He's still got his hat on. He's still coaching.
That is about as strong as you will ever hear from Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit going after Stephen A. Smith and the whole punditry class at ESPN. There's a lot of truth in what Kirk Herbstreit and Fowler are pointing out, that like, hey man, the people with no connection to college football, no real connection. And so the inference of what they're saying is that, hey, look, man, I talked to the administrators and the people connected to this university who will make the decision about Ryan Day. And those people, according to Fowler and Herbstreit, had no interest in firing Ryan Day. Now, they're saying this at the end of a blowout game. They're inferring that, hey, even if this game hadn't gone the way that we anticipated, Ryan Day has done such a good job that, yes, he struggled against Michigan, but we are in no mindset, given the recruiting, given the talent we have, given the results he's gotten every place else, we're in no mindset to fire Ryan Day. And so the inference from Fowler and Herbstreit is like, people that don't even watch college football, never talk to the decision makers in college football, are on ESPN platforms talking about Ryan Day getting fired without any connection to reality and what the administration is actually thinking. And so it's not that you can't have the opinion. It's that, like, hey, if you want to express that opinion, but you want to add in to your expression of that opinion that, hey, look, I've talked to the people, the decision makers. They're saying right now they would not fire Ryan Day. But if things go really poorly against Tennessee, I think that could change. And if they do move on from Ryan Day, here are the candidates. What they're getting at, what Herbstreit and Fowler are inferencing is like, Stephen A. is caught up in this Deion Sanders phenomenon. Stephen A. went on First Take talking about Deion Sanders is who Ohio State should contact and hire. Kirk Herbstreit is sitting there going, Ohio State and Deion Sanders? Really? And that sounds crazy to him. And Kirk Herbstreit played quarterback at Ohio State and is the largest, most impactful voice in college football. He played football at Ohio State, and he's the largest voice in college football. He has some influence and some say-so and the knowledge of what Ohio State's brass and decision makers are thinking. And he's basically saying, it ain't like Stephen A. Smith called me, texted me, asked me, is there any chance Ryan Day could get fired here? You know, how solid is his support? He's saying Stephen A. did no due diligence, and First Take did no due diligence, and they had this coach fired, and then they were talking about the insanity of bringing Deion Sanders to Ohio State. And so we have a full-blown race war raging at ESPN. Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharpe are irate with Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. Stephen A. Smith tried to take the high road. Take a listen.
Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit, outstanding, dynamic duo. It's an honor and a privilege to call them my colleagues, that we work here at the same network, all right? And I say this in fun to both of them. Stop. Stop it. Chris Fowler, you know, it's ridiculous. No, it's not. Kirk Herbstreit, First Take, got to get him fired. That is not true. I did. Not First Take. That was me, Stephen A. I'm going to own that. And what did I say specifically, Kirk Herbstreit? Because you got to quote me accurately, my brother. I watch you on College Football Game Day. I don't misquote you. Don't misquote me. What I said was, this man, Ryan Day, if he doesn't get a national championship, he should go. Even with a 66-10 record, I didn't stutter one bit. I ain't stuttering now.
Now, that's Stephen A. Smith taking the high road. His sidekick, Shannon Sharpe, he ain't on the high road. He feels like he doesn't need ESPN, and so he's going to take the low road. He's going to take the Pat McAfee role, and he's going to be far more aggressive. Listen to this.
Even though I'm going to let it slide. I'm going to be a good teammate. I'm going to let it slide. Everybody's at ESPN, because had you not taken the route you taken, I would have lit their ass up. But I'm going to let it slide. You know what, guys? Congratulations, Ohio State. You won the game. But, hey, if we're going to be on the same team, if we're going to work for the same network, don't do that. Kirk, Chris Fowler, I promise you, if you ever mention anything, any platform that I'm on again and talking about, I wonder what they're going to say in negativity, I promise you, ESPN ain't got enough bosses to keep me off y'all for what I'm going to say. So I'm going to let y'all slide today. I'm going to turn it over to D.O. before I get myself in trouble. But don't play with me.
This is the race war going on at ESPN. It's a byproduct of their bad leadership at ESPN. It's a byproduct of their diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative at ESPN. Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharpe, a bunch of these women of color at ESPN, and women pretending to be of color at ESPN, Elle Duncan, the Rachel Dolezal of sports media, they have complained about Pat McAfee. They have gone after Pat McAfee. They have racialized all conversations and discussions at ESPN. And so now there is out and out racial conflict at ESPN. Trust me, that's what this is. Stephen A. Smith, oh, I love you, Kirk, you're my guy, blah, blah. That's all BS. That's behind the scenes. There are lines drawn in the sand. There's Team Pat McAfee and there's Team Stephen A. Smith. The interesting thing, if you really follow this, is like there's an authentic team supporting Pat McAfee. There are people on Team Stephen A. Smith who are really holding their noses. I'm not talking about Shannon Sharpe. I'm talking about the racial idolaters behind the scenes at ESPN that really don't like Stephen A. Smith because they're pro-matriarchy, they're far more pro-LGBTQIA+. They're true believers. Stephen A. Smith is just a grifter, pretending that he's down with the entire BLM, Antifa, LGBTQ, Alphabet Mafia whole deal. He's just pretending, and trust me, they know it. But right now, because they're so hot and bothered by Pat McAfee, and so hot and bothered that like, hey, we're not gonna have a white guy show, Pat McAfee, which is what that is. It's a bro show. It's Barstool at ESPN. He's turned College Game Day into Barstool. Bunch of dudes, and the whole sideline Barbie, the Aaron Andrews, Maria Taylor thing, far less important. And so they, the Alphabet Mafia crew, the racial idolaters, they want to push more of their agenda into College Game Day. They want to disrupt that. They're tired of that whole bro show deal. And so they're just using and allowing Stephen A. Smith, who's in this contract drive, he wants to be paid more than Pat McAfee, and he wants to say that if he's not, it's because of racism. So there's this uneasy alliance supporting Stephen A. Smith. Trust me, Shannon Sharpe, when he goes to bed at night, no, I'm more talented, I know more about sports, I work harder than Stephen A. Smith, I'm really driving this. Trust me, Shannon Sharpe thinks that. Here's another guy that's on that team, Ryan Clark. He'll pretend like he's on team Stephen A. Smith because it's a little racial conflict and he's got to do it. But at the end of the day, when Ryan Clark lays his head down at night, I know far more about football and sports and competition than this clown Stephen A. Smith. But I got to be anti-Pat McAfee and I got to be anti that bro show thing because I'm part of Team Black and Stephen A. Smith is on Team Black. But they got the wrong leader, Stephen A. Smith. Like what you saw? Hit that like button, subscribe, and check out the full episode by clicking the link below.